Hello, YouTube. Today, I am going to talk about something that I didn't plan to be today. If this sounds like it's scriptless, it's because it is scriptless. But today, I'm going to be talking about Call of Duty and all the problems that I personally have with it. Now, other people might not have the same problem or might not or might just think I'm complaining in general, but yeah, I'm gonna be honest, yeah, it's me complaining. So, first problem I have with it, or at least I had with it for a good while, it doesn't happen as often anymore, but the problem that I had with it was that it had really bad latency for specifically PC. And I think that's kind of bullshit because it only had that latency because they were too busy with console that they didn't care about PC enough. They only cared about porting the update over. So there's a lot of latency problems for PC just because we're PC players and because this is a theory now, but I'm thinking it's probably because they make more money off consoles, so they care more about console and they don't do anything about PC. Another thing that I had a huge problem with is they raise. This is very controversial in Call of Duty, but they raise the amount of health from 100 to 150, and a lot of the weapons before I feel like were very balanced for 100, and I think the way that they had it before was very balanced in general. People complained about people dying too fast, but a lot of the times they were dying as fast as you would expect somebody to die off of gunshots. Uh, and now it feels like you could dump a half a mag into people and it won't do much, and that doesn't really make too much sense. They have adjusted, or seemingly adjusted it a little bit. Maybe modified weapons to be stronger, or modified the health to be slightly lower. But I do know that it's still not the greatest. There's still like certain weapons that you will just win with over other weapons. And another problem that kind of branches off of that is they didn't up the amount of damage that semi-automatic weapons do. And that's a huge problem with marksman rifles and snipers, because snipers are meant to one-shot. Marksman's rifles, they're still just about the same, but they still seem not great like a lot of the marksmans did in the second game. Um, but the sniper is a huge deal because if you don't hit somebody in like the upper shoulder or the head, then you're not going to insta kill them, and that's just never how Call of Duty has ever been. There has been a few times where yeah, you could hit marker somebody and they won't die, but that's normally like you shoot the leg, you shoot the groinal area. It's never been the body. And even at that, it has been rare occasion on games like Black Ops 2. But it's never been like that in Call of Duty games. It's always been a one shot for snipers unless you're hitting them in the legs or the groin. And that's how it still should be, I think. I think it's a very balanced way of having the sniper, not how it is right now. All the snipers are just dog ass in that game, unless you're playing with the 50 cal, but the 50 cal takes like 5 years to aim, and I'm not doing all of that to aim a 50 cal. Another thing, which is a more minute problem, that won't ever be fixed, but they decided to port all the weapons over, counting all the attachments, and now going through the attachments and figuring things out takes eons. It takes way too long to look through all that, which really just sucks. It takes a lot of time. Not too much else to say about that. It just kind of sucks. Another thing is, this is another pretty controversial thing, is that it's pretty much just a DLC. and it was meant to be a DLC. It's always meant to be a DLC. It wasn't supposed to be the third Call of Duty installment, which, I mean, come on, Activision, just come on. It was so lazy. I think one of the worst problems I had with it is they counted it in as a DLC for, or they counted it in as a game as a part of the Call of Duty. If you play it on, sorry, let me rephrase it. On Steam, they have everything now under Call of Duty, and that becomes a pretty major problem, because if you decide to go to refund the game and you've played plenty of Modern Warfare 2, you're not going to be able to refund Modern Warfare 3. So my problem is I played a little bit of beta, realized how much money I spent on it, and realized it wasn't really my type of game, and I'd rather stick with Modern Warfare 2 just because it worked. It did well. But then I couldn't. Even though I only played an hour of it, I couldn't, because it was over the 2-hour limit that they had, because I had 150 hours on Modern Warfare 2, so I couldn't refund Modern Warfare 3. That is quite scummy, and I'm not sure if it's still that way, but that's how it was. And then I played much more of Modern Warfare 3 because I wanted to make my money's worth out of it. Because I spent the $70 to pre-order the game, and then I also pre-ordered on top of that the Vault Edition, which is a really horrible idea because I'm not going to be playing the game enough to play the Battle Pass. I guess the next thing I could say is it just seems like the people are a lot worse with camping, and I think the problem with that isn't a Activision problem at all. It isn't necessarily a game problem either, technically, but it's still a reason why I don't really care for the game. It has a really bad problem with camping and people knowing great camping spots already, like from the get-go, just because they used old maps. And that's not a bad thing. Honestly, I love the maps that they added in. I personally didn't play the original Modern Warfare, but there is a few maps there that I still recognize, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. I was like, oh, High Rise, that's awesome. I love High Rise. Terminal, yeah. I guess that's something I could say is the maps. I just don't enjoy the maps all too much. There's not really too much of a reason. There's a few maps that I absolutely love and adore, but there's a lot of maps that I don't like it. Like, I personally don't like Terminal in the new Modern Warfare because there's way too many people just sitting in two spots and keeping one team clamped into one area because the spawns are just the exact same spot all the time. And since it's considered as out of their spawn area, the spawn area doesn't change, and therefore they could just keep them clamped within these two camping spots. It's kind of fucked up. Especially that area with like the restaurant. There's always just a sniper back there where you could barely see the head under the fucking sniper glint. That's bullshit. You shouldn't be able to do that. You can't really kill them. You hardly are able to kill them. And if you're able to kill them, it's because you normally have a very lucky shot that hits them in the head. Headshots, those suck because it takes like 3 headshots per weapon unless it is a semi-automatic weapon that isn't a pistol. You're not going to be able to one-tap headshot, which I guess that was in Modern Warfare 2, but it wasn't to the extent of it's either you one-tap headshot or you have to headshot 3 times in a row for it to be able to work. Kind of bullshit. So I guess I could go over some of the maps I just don't like. Like I said, Terminal, don't like it. I don't like I don't not like Rust. I don't care for Rust. I just don't care for small maps. But there is a map that makes me so wish that I had the small maps. And I don't exactly remember what it is called, but it is a snowy map, and it is just the worst. It is a huge map, absolutely ginormous for deathmatch slash, all those normal Modern Warfare game modes. That's not like Warzone, but it's a huge map, huge open oh my, huge open map that a lot of the time you go peek somebody, or you go to try to peek an area, is so open that you will, no matter what, you'll always see a sniper glint from the other side of the map, no matter what you do. And they just sit there the whole time because they have free pickings to whoever they shoot. There's nobody normally shooting back at them because they're on the other side of the map. They're literally a pixel with a sniper glint on it. And then there's a stupid house in the center that people just sit in with SMGs and ARs peeking out the windows. Either that, or they have a knife camping the stairs. And normally this is a team thing, that they all just sit inside of this house and gun down every single person that comes by. Is kind of bullshit. I think it's like Derailed. Pretty sure that was what it was called, was Derailed. God, it was just the worst map in that game. And I think, in my opinion, it is the worst map in any Call of Duty game that I have played, which isn't too many, to be honest. I can start talking about my most loved maps. And some of the maps are so great that I think they're my most favorite in the Call of Duty franchise. Other than this one map in Black Ops 2 that I really like. I forgot what it was, but it's like this like broken downish house. I don't know what it's called. But there's a map in Black Ops 2 that I really like a lot more than this, and I actually kind of do like Border Crossing as much as people absolutely despised Border Crossing. I loved it. I loved being able to randomly fucking nade people because it's so thin and narrow. And I loved when people accidentally naded me. It was hilarious to die by that. I felt actually okay with dying for once because it's so hilarious to see yourself get fucking naded by somebody who just randomly Kobe'd a grenade at your ass. And it feels even better to be the one Kobeing a grenade at somebody's ass. I love High Rise. Now, I don't like certain spots in High Rise, but I love High Rise altogether. It's just a good map. I don't know how to explain it, but there's multiple ways of entry. They're pretty linear, but they have areas that you could stray at. Like you could go out to the skyscraper, or to not the skyscraper, but you go out the crane. You could go onto this ledge that almost looks like you're floating over it. That's kind of cheating. You can go in an undergroundish area. You can go to just the normal straightaways. There's like little containers on the side that you could sneak into. You could go on top of those. Now, I'm not a big fan of the on top of the helipad. I don't like it when people just sit there because there's not really too much you could do against those people. But you could also go there if you wanted to. It's just a good map in general. I both dislike and I do like Rust. Rust is a good map. It's a classic. Everybody knows Rust. 1v1 me on Rust. It has its problems. Just kind of like Shipment. Shipment has its problems just as much as High Rise has its problems. So I guess we could end it at a high note. Maps that I like. I do like the maps. The maps are great. Some of the maps absolutely suck, but some of the maps are absolutely great. So I guess that is all. Don't mind my crappy footage, and if you see me shaking around this because I'm getting pissed off, I really did not want to record Call of Duty yesterday. So I will see you guys in another video. Hopefully it won't be lazy content. Hopefully I'll be able to actually record with my friends today. Bye-bye.